So we're here on the banks of the River Uston in Wales, and we're just waiting on a hatch to happen. We've got an upstream wind, and I've got, in my eyes, pretty much a legend when it comes to nymph fishing. Any reservoir loch style fishing, actually. One of the original Bristol boys, Tony Baldwin. You alright, Tony?
Yeah, fine, Steve. How are you?
Right, this is just off the top of my head, buddy, so I'm just going to try and go for it. You're probably best known for being pretty much a specialist when it comes to nymph fishing.
Yeah.
What tips would you give anybody looking to get into nymph fishing?
Never have any preconceived ideas on any day, because obviously depth is the number one thing. Always be prepared to mess around with your leader length. It's
funny, I remember you saying to me ages ago, and this is a really good caveat that Tony's got to embellish on. A lot of people straight away when they go to a nymphing setup, they've got this massive long length of leader before their first dropper. Tony, explain why that can be a mistake.
Well, early season, fish are grubbing around on the bottom more. Depends how warm it is, but you can have 12 foot to a top dropper.
Yeah.
And then say 4 flies afterwards.
Yeah.
As the season progresses, the fish start to come up in the water. Guys will still go out with a 12 foot when you need to come down to 3 foot sometimes to your top dropper.
I remember one time you were telling me about chew, and you were telling me that everybody that was nymphing were nymphing too deep. The fish were literally a foot below the surface, and you had such a short section to your first dropper.
The sections on shoe, the 12 foot, three of your flies will be in the mud.
Yeah, no good to anybody. No good. So what would be your setup for nymphing? Anything specific?
Yeah, I always have natural muskins on the top dropper. Always.
Yeah. Is that because of the breathers and it's a whole look?
It's just a natural looking fly.
Yeah.
That can be generally black, early season. Yeah. Then I go for the brown ones, natural brown. Orange breathers are very good one.
Very good. I'll put a link into a video to one orange breathers that I've tied, but it was obviously pinched off of Tony. So, given the fact that you've fished the world over, and me and you have been lucky enough to share a boat, albeit it was in Tasmania and not in this country, and I'd love to get some time in a boat with you. If there was one drift on one reservoir anywhere in the world, where would it be?
My favourite drift, obviously Chew is my home water, would be...
You knew that was coming.
Morton Stratford.
Yeah, I like Morton.
Because you tend to get more grown on fish.
Yeah, big stuff.
At Morton Stratford than anywhere else on that lake. Well, you used to anyway. And I think, but it's more hatch driven. The conditions have got to be right for it. You can't just go there and expect it to be calm.
Totally.
You can go there 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, nothing, go back there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it can be on.
And what would you target? Would you target above the weeds or the drop off of it goes into the deeper water? Because I've seen you fish and chew before.
Yeah, you fish in between weeds, especially when the weeds start to grow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then obviously washing line comes into it. Then you have to sort of put a booby or a fab or whatever it is, you know.
And you've seen obviously a big shift in that, because when you obviously started fishing, we never had any of that nonsense.
No. Early season, you can go out now, put a Tiemco 8 on the point, even 2, to get them down.
That's heavy hooks for anybody that doesn't know, but proper heavy hooks.
Like I said, as the season progresses, lighter hooks.
Yeah.
If you want things to go down more quickly, close your flies together more.
Yeah.
Summer month, you spread them to 5 foot apart.
That's great advice.
More slowly, do you know what I mean?
That's great advice, Tony, because the competition angler fraternity seems to be stuck in a rut of specific spacing, specific flies. I think we're getting lazy now. More and more of us tend to get out when we're fishing. Rather than pulling, which we used to do in the olden days, or nymphing, we went for the lazy approach of fab, booby, nymph and nymph.
Yeah.
But we've got this regulation 4 feet or 5 foot. As you mentioned, if you put nymphs closer together, the more density there, they've got to drop through the water, all the better.
Yeah, because you've front loaded, haven't you?
Yeah.
I always look at nymphing like coarse fishermen, shots as float.
Yeah.
And that's the way to look at it.
Yeah. And people didn't look at that. And it's funny, I fish with a couple of boys that come from a coarse fishing background, and the technical aspect of their fishing is far more sort of intriguing. They try and work things out a lot more, and I think that's the thing when you're nymph fishing, you have to work things out a lot more.
Yeah, there's little techniques, and we all do it. Most of the top guys do it. Cast it out, keep everything straight.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing. Always keep in touch with everything.
In distance, Tony, I see people casting to the horizon. What would you say to that?
You don't need to in a boat. Simple as.
And you're spooking.
Yeah.
Fish and
cover the angles.
Yeah.
I'm left-handed, so my best side is the bow.
Yeah.
Because you can get a better hang.
Yeah.
A lot of the time I get put on the engine because you know the water.
Yeah.
I'd like you to tell the engine, but
Yeah.
it doesn't do me any favours, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Not if you're left-handed.
Yeah. And I always throw in, you know, once you get flies down, early season especially, throw in a couple of quick ones, lift them up, let them drop back down.
And if you find when you're nymphing, Tony, there's certain things that I do when I'm nymphing, and you'll be able to keep me right on this. Quite often when I'm nymphing, I'll have a straight line, everything's sunk. I've got this real habit of flicking my rod tip, and what it does, it brings the fly ups and down in the water column. And I quite often find after I've done that, is it's as the flies are dropping that I get a take.
Yeah.
Do you do anything similar to that?
Yeah, like I said, I throw a few of these in.
Yeah.
Fast twiddles, bring them up, drop them.
Yeah.
Lots of little things.
Listen, it's so technical, and I know it's just a short interview, but I just thought we would take the opportunity to do it a bit. Another thing, Tony, and I see a lot of competition guys do this. They fish their flies, and they've still got 10 or 20 feet of fly line off, and they lift off and they start casting. Tell them why they shouldn't do that.
You shouldn't do that, because fish, more often than not, they're following your flies right to the end.
Yeah.
And as you lift and hang,
Vertical,
and you can hang for 30, 40 seconds, and then they'll hit it. Do you know what I mean?
So when it comes to fish, is there any ones that stick out particularly? Would it be a chew fish, or would it be something from someone else? I know you're mad for river fishing, hence we're at that.
I'm going to be river fishing now, but yeah, I've had a 12-pound brownie out of chew.
There you go, 12-pound brownie.
And I've had a 9.25-pound brownie out of chew, Stratford Morton. I mean, like river fish, you know, my biggest river fish is about 3.5.
Yeah, that's enough.
But that
It's
sticks
huge,
out in my mind. I'll never forget that one. Do you know what I mean?
Of course it does. So
Um,
when it comes to nymphing, I know you do it the whole year through. You're extremely competent at it, and exceptionally gifted angler, I would say, when it comes to nymph fishing. But if there's a time of year, because given the fact that we've just come off the buzzers now and the fish are starting to come higher in the water, when would you say?
May.
Yeah.
Definitely May.
Yeah. Is that because there's more insect?
Yeah, it's starting to warm up. Things are starting to move. They're coming up in the water column.
And you'll also, I guess, come
the odd
away
chance
from
you
the
get a
deep.
few on dries. You can eat. I mean, you can get fish now on dries if the conditions are right, but more chance in May to June.
And shallower water as well.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing in the winter, especially on Chew. And it's not a deep lake.
Yeah.
But the shallower water warms up the quickest. So early season, you'll find the fish in the shallower water.
Spot on, Tony.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You see people, you see it often with guys in boats, and there'll be bank anglers ahead of where a boat angler will be on the bank, because that's where the fish are, where the most food is.
Yeah.
So we've talked everything nymphing wise, and we've talked sort of tactics and spreading out your flies. If you pick a team of 3 for anywhere, I know the muskins has got to be there, that's a given.
Yeah, red holographic d'Alba.
And being a chew boy, it'll be super skinny.
Yeah. Muskins, always black, natural. I've never been into hare's ears much on anywhere, to be honest. I know they work on Stratford, but I'm not a big hare's ear person. Obviously a black buzzer on a point, definitely blue if you need it early season. Other than that, just a plain jungcock, black Dalback is a must.
Spot on.
That's basically, you'll catch all year round on that team.
And have you ever dropped down in sizes? Are you pretty much size 10s and 12s?
No. 10's time short.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm a great, I might be wrong, a lot of people say I'm wrong, but I don't believe the fish see the hook half the time. So you can tie 10 short.
Yeah.
But I do go to 12.
Yeah.
Because obviously the weight, if you need to keep things up, you go down 12, 14. I even fish 14.
So really it's more about weight than size.
More weight, yeah.
That's a really good tip as well, actually. And is there any particular nuts you use in your nymphs?
Or
is it a case of keeping it simple?
Well, because we've gone to barbless a lot more than we used to be when 7.5s were always the go-to hooks for basically everything. Or 110 grubbers, things like that, a lighter hook. Now we've gone to barbless. I tend to stick with Hannock, which you know.
260?
The 230 is a good hook.
230 is lovely, but it's thin.
And the one I like with the point bends down.
Yeah. 270.
Yeah, it's a good nymph. I like that.
Nice one.
Yeah.
And any other nymphing secrets that you could share before we end this, Tony? Because I've seen a couple of fish rise and I'm keen to get on the water now.
Not like, it's like I said, don't have preconceived ideas from any day you've been out, even if it's practicing for a match or whatever.
Yeah.
Conditions can change. I fished once in a match where it was very, very windy. And I was on a floater, and the wind was taking it all over the place. But I fished a Tiemco 8 on the top dropper to anchor it in there. And just work big style, do you know what I mean? Just things like that you have to change to suit the day.
That's spot on, man.
You know what I mean?
So there you go. In my eyes, pretty much an Nymphing legend. I've fished with a few guys that are exceptional, and this guy's one of them. The other it's a pleasure, mate. The other little caveat I'd give you to that, and this is a lovely tip for Rutland and Gratham especially, because those are the ones that I fish. Quite often you'll get guys using midge tips. Sometimes a better bet's 30-pound fluorocarbon. It's got a different sinking density. You actually anchor those flies a lot better than you would a midge tip. Nobody's got any idea what you're using. They think you're using a floater, but you're actually on a midge tip. There's a little tip from me. So
well, I think a floating line is probably by number one. But with the midge tip, you can tend to move flies up depth a little bit, and there's certain days they want that.
Bit of manipulation.
They don't want it static.
There you go then. Perfect stuff for Tony. I was going to say Tony somebody else here. Tony Baldwin. I hope you enjoyed that, folks. Please subscribe to my channel. There you go.